Petroleum is an invaluable and lootable natural resource, which provides 35% of the world's energy. However, the extraction, production, and transportation of petroleum can often cause conflict. Your company, and the oil industry in general, is a major actor in this conflict. By extracting petroleum in developing countries, you contribute to domestic political and social instability. Countries where oil is extracted are up to twice as likely to suffer internal rebellion as non-oil producing countries. Your company is accountable for clean business practices that do not exploit those living in these petroleum-rich regions. You may induce conflict by providing government funding through oil revenues or by aggravating grievances among citizens. Your production also increases the likelihood of corruption and destructive extraction in these unstable oil-rich countries. You may take a neutral stance towards both conflict and the regime of the host country, but you implicitly recognize and support the local government by doing business in the country. Your company intensifies internal conflict by fueling local citizens' grievances about issues like environmental degradation, importing foreign labor, and unfair distribution of wealth and benefits. Additionally, because of their dependence on the revenue you provide, petroleum-rich countries usually respond very strongly and violently to any domestic resistance to the industry. Historically, security forces have attacked unarmed citizens who protest oil companies. Companies like yours have also been accused of providing oil-rich countries with military assistance via access to company airstrips, roads, and even weapons. Your company is also at risk in these conflicts, as your operation may be a target for kidnapping and attacks on infrastructure. Rebel groups attack pipelines or steal oil to provide funding for their organizations. They also kidnap workers to extort money and to influence company decisions. Nigeria is one nation that is incredibly dependent on oil. Shell and other companies' irresponsible practices have intensified existing conflicts between local communities in the Niger Delta, especially the Ogoni tribe. The local community sees only negative environmental costs of oil while receiving few benefits of extraction. At the peak of unrest in 1993, 300,000 Ogoni were protesting Shell's oil extraction. Ogoni detainees were beaten by company police. Among those detained, Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other Ogoni activists were executed after a military trial. Your company needs to learn from this case study and recognize that you are accountable for regional conflict. You have the ability to influence abusive regimes in the countries in which you operate, and thus it is your responsibility to take these steps towards responsible business. Making all financial transactions and security agreements with the host country transparent and accessible increases responsibility for all parties. Cultivating community relations and development programs can be used to soothe local grievances. Consider paying host countries with community development projects that benefit citizens directly. If you don't act responsibly, you will be held accountable by your government, consumers, and NGOs. Should an organization, such as the World Bank or UN, organize multilateral mandatory agreements based on international law and human rights, it is essential for you to comply with its standards. Until such a regulation is universal for all international oil companies, unregulated companies will always have a competitive advantage over regulated ones, and conflict will prevail. Your participation in this organization would show your commitment to preventing conflict and help maintain your competitiveness with other industry companies. Until such multilateral action is taken, it is of vital importance that you consider our policy recommendations and take steps to preventing conflict intrinsic in oil production.